Okay, I've been to prison 4 times. I was in prison for drug dealing. The hardest thing about staying out of prison is dealing with the isolation, the judgments, the stigma.
The train on platform 1 goes to City Circle via Granville. First stop, Warwick Farm, then all stations to Granville, then Clyde, Auburn.
I had the perfect life. I had 2 beautiful children. I had a husband that doted. I had a 9-to-5 job. We had a little house, not far from the school. And I thought I was the luckiest woman in the world. Things started to change. My son passed away when he was 19. We were holding each other up from the death of our son, And then my husband was diagnosed with renal cancer. And he passed away, and we buried him with my son. And it was actually one of my kids' friends introduced me to ice not long after my husband passed away.
Stations to Granville, then Clyde.
Inside, I was just falling apart. I was an absolute mess. And the more I took ice, the more I wanted to take ice.
Doors closing, please stand clear.
I couldn't get enough of it, I just wanted to deaden any pain I could. Friends would come over, we'd all throw our money in, and then I'd get it, and then we'd divvy it all up, And in essence, that made me a drug supplier, yeah. I was a drug supplier from that moment onwards, yeah. And then, of course, after that, their friends, like my friends, told their friends, and then their friends told other friends, and other friends told other friends. And before I knew it, my house was like Central Station. It was absolutely ridiculous. And I was getting more and more sick by the day. It was eating me from the inside out, literally. I ended up with sepsis in my blood.
So those marks on your arms, what are they from?
They were from the sepsis due to the ice, yeah. The poison, my whole blood became toxic. Yeah, it was literally toxic. And I knew every day when I opened my eyes, I would be wondering, is today the day that I'm either going to die or I'm going to be arrested? I'm either going to die or I'm going to be arrested, And each day was I knew one of those would happen, And I was praying that it would just happen soon. When I came out, I had no home, no money, a change of underwear, but that was basically it. Where I'm living now is not safe. I am absolutely desperate. So we're off today to speak to someone in the Uniting Church about a home. Having a home for me, and regardless of where it is, what it looks like, it could be the biggest dump in Sydney, but it would just be, you can make it your home, yeah.
Hi, friends. So good to see you again. You're looking well. We'll go in and meet, see what the housing's all about, hey? Long-term housing is so important. It's the next big one.
Hi, friends.
Hello,
Catherine. How are you? Can I give you a hug?
So, first of all, I'll show you around. So I'll show you a couple of rooms we've got here. There's about 17 ladies. So
17 ladies?
Yeah. So it's for
Wow.
single ladies. Yeah, so this is the Oh,
This
it's
is
a bed
huge.
sitting room. There's a kitchen here. We provide a microwave and bar fridge because, you know, we've got the kitchen downstairs, and then there's
look at that view,
laundry.
isn't it?
Oh, sorry, bathroom.
Yeah. Oh my God. This is beautiful.
That's all you need, isn't it? I know. Feel a bit emotional.
I know.
Okay. But
Actually, it's quite. It's
the
quite
units
big.
are quite small, so we don't. So I don't know. Do you have a pet?
Look at a little dog. Yeah.
Because
He's about
Pocket size.
yeah, we've
Yeah.
actually had other people who've requested dogs, and we've said it's not really suitable for
Yeah,
pets,
right,
which is
okay.
a shame because it's so small and.
I sort of got really excited and I said, I have a little dog. And she said, we can't have dogs here. And I just thought, oh no.
Fran, it would be lovely to be able to help her. She's a person that's in housing need. It's really sad, and you want to help everybody, but you can't.
Do you have any sort of accommodation that you know?
It's really difficult for people like Fran to feel really safe. You need housing. Like, everybody deserves somewhere that they can put their head down every night and feel safe. And for most people coming out of prison, that doesn't happen.
That's
Yeah.
right. And they don't get their parole. If they've got nowhere to go, that's it.
Some women give up. They just can't cope with the fact that they've got nowhere to live. They don't want to be on the street and be homeless and be unsafe.
Talk to you a bit more about housing.
Okay.
Yeah, so look, Fran, I just thought I'd bring our application for housing
All right,
here.
okay.
So if you get this filled in, we can have a look and see what might be available. Nothing might be available immediately, but, you know, we can have a look. And the important thing is to get on the waiting list. She's the sort of person that we would like to help. Can't promise anything because it's difficult. We might not have anything in the area that she wants to go to, but we can put her on our waiting list. There's not enough secure, affordable housing available. No. So fill this in.
Yeah.
That's an order.
We'll get definitely help
And I've been
Fran
out
to do that as well.
8.5 months now, so something's got to start
Yeah.
soon.
Yes. There's a medical report there that you'll need to get filled in.
I walked away thinking that nothing was going to come of it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, someone may be able to come out of jail and benefit from what Catherine's offering, but it wasn't going to be me.
And as I said, 2 forms of ID and your income details. So if you've got a Centrelink income statement, that's what we need.
I've been to prison 5 times. I've been to prison for break and enter, driving while disqualified, driving under the influence of ice, and escape police custody. The hardest thing about coming out of prison is being homeless and the stigma.
Oh, I'm so excited. I know, me too. And I'm so happy to have you. That's okay. Me too, Mama.
Hey, darling.
How are you doing? You look amazing. Thank you. Nice to call you. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, Mama. Oh, hugs from everybody. Yeah, I know. Yay! Yippee! We got the house. Yay! Yay, Mama! That's so great. Isn't it gorgeous? Yes. I'm so excited. I know. Yeah. So when can we move in? Later in the week. Yep. So yeah. Yippee! Maybe sign the leases on Wednesday. So.
I've got some underwear, some papers, my release papers, and $50. Yep, and that's it. That's it. Yeah, that's what we come out with. So, not much.
The manager of security obviously didn't tell Mr. Riddles that. But even I don't know. Like,
Anyway, I'm out now, and yay.
new beginnings.
New beginnings, yes. Yeah. And I've been inside for 6 months now, so it's great to be out. It's fabulous. Like, yoo-hoo! I'm ecstatic, really. And it's so good to have my mum. Yeah, thank you, Mama.
Wouldn't miss it for the world.
I know. Thanks, Mama.
And Annie, how do you feel today? I feel really excited. I guess there's a little bit of anxiousness there, but it's new beginnings for you and for us as a family. So
Yeah.
really.
Every time I get out, Mum's been there and tried to get accommodation for me because I couldn't go home to Dad's because that's where I just robbed his house really. So I put them through a lot of stress definitely the last 4 years. But before that, really since I was 16. They're sad. When I drink, I have diminished capacity, so I make really poor choices. Then I get drunk and go and hang out with people that are on ice, and then I get on the ice and then I don't sleep for 4 days, and then I'm a drunk again, and next thing I know, I'm stealing cars and really dangerous behaviour.
This is the last time I have to talk to you on the phone while you're in prison, so and wait for that.
The impact for myself for Becky's prison terms has been time and cost and heartache. But mostly it's been the heartache around it, having to talk about with your friends that, I'm going to visit my daughter in prison today. It's a real shame thing. And leaving her there. When you leave, it was really hard.
I am never going back to prison. I have had enough. I've definitely grown from this experience, and I'm not coming back. I cannot go back. It's just that there's no ifs, buts or maybes. I'm just not going back.
Becky and I have just moved into a new place on the south coast of New South Wales. And I guess if I didn't think she'd turned over a new leaf and was ready to make some positive changes in her life, I wouldn't have done that.
You put these in this cupboard here? Yep. Is that what this one's for?
Yep.
When Becky was using, because she was such an opportunist thief, I would hide things like my car keys, my wallet, my phone, laptop under my pillow whenever, I went to bed.
I'll just have to move some of this stuff out the road.
I have had a very tense relationship with my mum in the past, but I am rebuilding that.
Stuff that you gave me for your birthday.
Mum has given me more than a few chances, and I have let her down more than a few times.
Borax. Go in here as well.
A few years ago now, Becky stole some precious and irreplaceable things from a house that I was looking after. And for me, it really gutted me. That particular time, she'd stolen lots of things before in the past, but that particular occasion, it was Mother's Day, and we'd been out for a lovely lunch, but that night when I went off to work, she came back to the house and took those things. And with it, my trust, that, she stole the trust that other people had in me, and that was really, really tough, and I went into a bit of a spiral myself at that point.
I have done a lot of personal growth. My self-esteem was shocking, and I'm pretty good now. I was 6 when I was sexually abused. The effect that had on my life was devastating. My dad wanted to believe me. My mum just flat out did not believe me, which was really hard. And then my parents actually got divorced not long after that. I don't even know if the abuse affected me as much as not being believed. I went from a little happy girl to a really, I started to compulsively eat. I blew up to a little fat kid. I just thought everyone loved me because they had to love me.
I feel a lot of regret and shame around that I didn't believe Becky when she told me she was sexually abused as a young child. I had no reason to believe that could possibly happen, I just didn't. I was very naive. I do wonder if we as parents had believed her earlier and acted on that maybe, just maybe, it wouldn't have gone as badly as it has.
If I could change one thing in my life and hers, I would go back and fix that and make sure it never happened. If Becky hadn't been sexually molested, I'm sure her life would have been better. She wouldn't have hung around with the people she did.
I had such low self-worth. I thought I was unlovable. I didn't really get to do all the things that 16-year-olds did because of my involvement with a pretty violent relationship.
I think Becky was attracted to violent people to protect her because I'm not a violent person and obviously I didn't protect her.
I have 100% used their guilt against them. For all sorts of things, so from justifying stealing their cars to justifying them to giving me money. So when I would go to jail, I would use that against them, like, this is your fault.
She's broken into my house at least 50 times. She's stolen, and to get into the house, she's broken windows, she's broken locks, she's gone through walls. We spent about 10 grand on the ground floor to put security screens on doors, on all the windows and doors. We put a $5,000 camera system in. We put lights to light up at night. It's just horrendous. You go cold at night when you hear noises, it's just bad news all around.
It's a security screen that Dale put on. It's a pretty
that
big
one's
job.
pretty much bulletproof?
Yeah, that one's a fairly, it's not going anywhere.
The amount of money Becky's stolen from me over the years, I would estimate over 100,000, possibly more.
That's the door to my bedroom. So, and I used to have a key to that, but I don't. I've broken through the interior walls of the house. Everyone in our family has got a key lock on their door because I had
A deadlock.
A deadlock and a key lock, key locks, because I'd actually broken into everybody's rooms. I would pick the locks, but then also I cut through the plasterboard from one room into the other room. Yeah.
It's a killer drug.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Oh, babe.
It's all better now.
Good. I'll be very happy with that.
Okay. My sister was so over me. She refused to come to the jails the last couple of times that I was in. She'd had a gutful. And so she wrote me this letter and she said, you know what, Becky, you are not the only person that's been abused. You're not the only person that's had trauma. Yes, I feel for you. And yes, it sucks, but you need to just get over it because you can't keep doing this. And I was like, oh, I really can't keep doing this anymore. Like, yes, shit happens, but there is a lot more shit that has happened to other people in the world. So you can definitely move through trauma. There's no point in holding on to it and me being a victim of it because it was actually destroying my life. Women's prisons are filled with stories of people like me, so people that have had trauma, abuse, really violent relationships, and I said to the girls actually this last time, I said, you know, we're actually pretty lucky that we get to jail because a lot of women don't even get here. A lot of women are killed through domestic violence. A lot of women are broken and are in prison in their own house. So for me, it's really sad. Like, it's actually very sad to think that that we end up in prison after such hectic pasts. Yeah.
I've been to prison more than 30 times. I went to prison for aggravated assault on police officers, stealing cars, breaking enters. The hardest thing for me to stay at a prison is being judged from a criminal history. Yeah, all my family have been in jail, all my siblings, my mother, my stepfather. Yeah, have all been to prison. That's probably my earliest memories as a child, is visiting my mum in prison and the people in prison, like who I call my aunties now.
Is there anyone in your family who hasn't been to prison?
Yeah, my baby sister. Prison to me it just seems normal. Like everything just seems normal. It's just the only thing I know in life.
Is that why you kept going back in?
That and plus I had nowhere to go, probably.
Donna came into care as a little 7-year-old girl because her mum went into prison. There's a number of messages in Donna's story. I feel the biggest message is survival, even though I know that sometimes Donna has thought that she wasn't going to survive. But she's survived the most horrific violence that a little girl and a woman can experience.
I was sexually abused a number of times when I went to care. Since the age of maybe 13, 14, I've, lived on the streets. Sleeping rough on the streets. I got attacked a number of times. There'd be times where I'd find myself alone and sleeping at a bus stop or sleeping somewhere where I thought no one would see me and someone stumbled over me, and being so small and looking so young maybe. Being attacked was something that happened a few times growing up.
And has that impacted on you going to jail, do you think?
Yeah, maybe by the retaliation. Being violent is what I became. I used to be a really hater. I used to hate everyone, a lot of people.
How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. How's your new place?
Yeah,
show
good.
me.
Welcome.
Oh, look at this. Awesome.
Yeah, this is my new little place, veranda.
All your photos.
Yeah, I need
I
more.
got that up there.
Donna now lives about an hour north out of Brisbane, which is very new for her.
Tell my little woman.
Because she lived on the streets in the Fortitude Valley in Brisbane City predominantly all her life.
So how long have you been here now for?
Since mid-October now.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So proud of you. You feeling proud of you? Huh?
Yeah, a little. Coming along. I've come a long way, I think. My little veranda. It's pretty tough coming out of prison with no support.
I'm so excited for you.
Debbie Kilroy has helped me stay on the straight and narrow immensely, just with the support, just the help of direction.
She likes walking when you hold on to her.
Yeah, when you hold it.
Donna's life is so similar to so many women's lives who are in prison. We have a massive overrepresentation of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander women in our prison systems across this country. We know that 74% of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander women who are in prison today have been in prison before.
And you finished your parole too.
Yeah, I finished now.
Too easy.
It's you showed me how to live a life, I think.
Yeah, a different life, Dale. A life that you want to live, yeah? Yeah.
Yeah, a life worth living.
Yeah, a life worth living. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Hey. Yeah. I want you to live and be happy. Hmm?
Happy tears.
Yeah. What's been inspiring and heartfelt for me is that Donna has a first home, yeah, which is just beautiful. One day at a time, 1 hour at a time. It's the first time she's ever had a home that she feels safe in. Because this is your home, no one can take this off you. Do you know what I mean? You've got this. It's really special.
Yeah, I finally have something to lose now in my life.
That's scary, eh?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Exciting and scary?
Yeah.
Yeah. With support, Donna can and is, right now, turning her life around.
I was just wondering, would you have any work going or any jobs?
At the moment, no. Now, do you want a docket?
No, thank you.
Okay. Lovely.
Thank you.
Donna's going to hit speed bumps. There's going to be ups and downs. There's no doubt about that. But I believe that Donna is a strong black woman and she's going to be okay.
Hello, my name's Becky. How are you?
Good, thank you.
That's good. I really need to find a job, so I've decided to be proactive. Have you guys been looking for anyone, or are you looking for anyone?
We are actually.
Okay, cool. So I've worked in bakeries. I have never worked with meat and knives. I've worked at the bank, so I'm pretty good with numbers.
Customer service
I
skills.
am great. Yep,
Yeah.
great customer service
That's
skills.
half the battle, really.
Yeah.
If you've got like good customer service
Yeah.
skills, you're already like.
I'm
50%
happy,
of the way
and
there.
I can. So the thing is, with me, I've actually have got a criminal history. I've been released from prison, so I'm still clean. I haven't used in 7 months. So for me, this is about getting back on my feet, and that's my story.
Okay.
If you would like to have a think about it, that would be
Yeah,
fabulous.
sure.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
more than happy to give you a trial.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you. Thank you, Erica. Take care. See you. It was nice to meet you. Bye. Thank you. I'm having a trial at the butcher's today. I will do fine. I'm okay with the people.
Okay. I'll pop that in the window, just down there.
And what is this called?
Butterfly leg lamp.
Women coming out of prison do find it hard to find jobs because a lot of people do police checks, but I think that if you're upfront and honest about it first, that people will give you a go.
I mean, we all do stupid things, so I feel like everyone deserves a second chance.
$5, $10, $15.10 change. Thank you. Thanks.
She looks great, she's very friendly, and to be honest, I don't really care about people's history. I care about what they're going to do with us and in the future.
I feel rapt about getting the job. So amazing. It's just like there's a lot of weight lifted. So we weigh the paper. My boss is amazing. Erica is fabulous. She has given me the chance to really have a new life.
I've probably used too much paper, sorry.
You get better at it.
Fran's amazing because she survived. And she survived with humour, and she survived with her humanity intact. She hasn't crawled into herself. She's a full person, and she survived years in jail. I've been Fran's mentor for 2.5 years.
Yeah. My whole life is going to change now. And to do that, I have had to cut ties with everyone that I know, virtually. Apart from family, everyone that I know, I no longer associate with, you know, so which is very lonely. She's about 6 months old now.
I've learned heaps with Fran. She's taught me so much stuff. I can't believe how resourceful she is, and she's funny. We get on well together. She won't go back to prison. I'm aware of saying that, and people will think, oh, yeah. She will not go back to prison. She's had enough. She has had enough.
But I couldn't have done it without you, Mary. You know
you
that.
Could have done Liverpool Police Station without me.
No, I know. I thought I was going to get locked up that day.
You weren't going to get locked up. But then you had that good experience with that sergeant.
Mary's my angel. She's my knight in shining armour. If I didn't have Mary, I probably would have ended up back in jail. She's taught me a completely different way of looking at things, you know, which is probably the right way and the way normal people look at things, you know. Not saying that I'm abnormal, but I have been known to, not look at things quite right, maybe. But yeah, so she has taught me so much. Who would have thought an old girl like, see, you can teach old girls new tricks. Yeah.
Fran is desperate to get a job because getting a job means that she can live like a human being. She can get some money, she can buy adequate food, she can go out. The odds are really stacked against her. She is almost 60 and getting a job when you're a woman and when you're 60 isn't easy. And then having a police record, it gets to the almost impossible stage.
Hi. How are you?
Hi, Fran.
No one wants to employ you when there's 100 other applicants that don't have criminal records. So why would they want to employ you? Sometimes I feel like I'm just beating my head against a brick wall.
Oh, fantastic.
Hi, Fran. I'm Kathy. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Come and have a seat. Hi, I'm Kathy.
I'm Mary.
Hi, Mary. Nice to meet you. Come and have a seat. Here.
Fran and I recently went to a charity that finds jobs or attempts to find jobs for women coming out of prison.
This is going to be a job and a half.
When we arrived, she was a bit nervous, but really enthusiastic.
And I bet you're just dying to get to work.
Oh, yeah.
Eh?
You know, I'm willing to give 150%, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, just...
Look, there are employers out there that will hire. We just have to find them.
We do. And that's what we're going to try and do.
Okay.
That,
I don't care what I do. I scrub toilets. You might want to turn the cameras off, but, you know, I scrubbed feces, I scrubbed vomit, I scrubbed toilets, I scrubbed urine, I scrubbed everything in there, you know, and I did it with a smile on my face, you know, and I was paid $23 a week for doing that.
yes.
And so, yeah, I would certainly do it for, you know, 500.
No, I don't think there's any doubt in your sincerity or your wish to get to work.
Yeah.
As I say,
As the meeting progressed, you could see her anxiety and her tension rising.
It sounds to me, Fran, that you're really experienced. You have a lot of skills, and maybe some of these skills you don't even recognise you have.
Possibly. Okay, so can we have a job next week?
I can't guarantee that.
well, look, who knows? Why don't we do this?
I mean,
Why don't we
I
get
am
you?
really keen.
Yeah.
How long have you been looking?
To work.
How long
I've
have you
been
been
out now
looking?
for 8 months.
8 months?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's work together on
Yeah,
this. Eh?
I need a job fast.
Where are you
and I am
finding
willing
it?
to do absolutely anything. And
It was painful to watch, and I felt her exhaustion watching her go through that and thinking, don't get mad, Fran, don't get impetuous, just hang in there. In fact, that's what a lot of mentoring's about, is saying, just hang in there.
But unfortunately, we have to start with a piece of paper.
right,
So
okay.
let's
It always
work
starts
on.
with the
But yeah,
paper.
well, exactly. Well, let's.
Fran deserves a break. She really deserves a break. She's been in prison, sure, but she's paid the penalty.
Really, that's that extra
right.
little bit to get you
that's
over.
right, exactly, yeah.
I'm not allowed to drive until 2042, so I'll be almost 60 by the time I can get my licence back. My driving record is horrendous. So I've lost my licence about 11 times. It's suspended from speeding, not wearing P plates, pretty radical stuff when I was 18 to, how am I, 31, so until I was about 28 probably, really, like just horrendous driving record. And then I got done driving under the influence, so...
The influence of what?
Methamphetamines. So I was picked up 5 times for that. Driving under the influence of ice is... I wouldn't recommend it to anyone because you've got no feeling or no... you've got no conscience of what you're actually doing. So when you drive erratically, when you put people's lives in danger, and I'm definitely not proud of doing that. And you don't care, like the ice takes every feeling, it numbs everything. You've got, it's like you've got no responsibility, you're invincible. The rules don't apply to you. Yeah, it's just tough. To think that I was so careless with life is tough.
Hello, Becky.
Hello. I have to go to court at the end of January.
Welcome. Come on through, please.
Thank you.
Becky's facing 4 charges, so 2 relate to driving while disqualified and 2 are called take and drive conveyance, which basically means that you're driving a stolen motor vehicle or you're a passenger of one. So what a different place to meet. Since Becky's been released in November, she hasn't committed any more offences. The offences we're dealing with actually relate to before she was incarcerated the last time.
So there is potential that I could go back to jail?
There is, Becky. That's certainly a real possibility. You have been in jail on, I think, 5 occasions, you've told me. So for very similar offences to what you've pled guilty for on this occasion. So look, there is a real risk, but I am... Becky knows going back to prison would just be absolutely horrific for her. Sending her back to jail again is going to be another band-aid. It's not going to help her long term. In fact, it's just going to make her career prospects and her chance of fitting into society so much less successful.
Today's a big day. Catherine rang and she had a place that she would like to offer. It would like to know if I was interested in, and my jaw just hit the ground.
Today I'm moving into my new home. It's a dream come true.
What a dream.
Yes, even Nugget can't wait.
She wasn't exactly weeping with joy on the phone, but she was laughing and laughing, and I couldn't believe it either. I was almost weeping. It was just the greatest gift. It was wonderful. It meant a whole new life. Accommodation means that, because without it, you're stuffed, really.
I just can't wait to see a new place.
You're going to love it, Mary. You're just going to love it. When I first saw it, I thought the people from the block had been in there and they'd done it. It looks beautiful.
That's
it's
good,
just
eh?
so lovely.
I'm dying to see it.
Wipe your feet.
Oh, Fran, it is absolutely...
Isn't it beautiful?
And it really is.
I know.
It is a whole new chapter in my life. It is, absolutely. It's only good things can come from here. I've got such a good feeling. There's hope. It's given me hope. Yeah.
Oh,
thank you
it's
so
a pleasure.
much.
It's one of the wonderful things about doing this job, to be able to help people like you. No, it's a wonderful thing.
So much. This is beautiful. It's more than I even dared to dream.
So it's a nice sized bedroom.
They are good sized bedrooms.
It was just everything that I could have dreamed of. Yeah, it was absolutely everything.
It is fab. fantastic.
Oh, isn't that great?
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
I don't like to show my emotions, but I just couldn't hold back the tears. It was just, it's been so long since, you know, I've felt I belonged. That I belonged. Yeah, if you can imagine that, yeah.
So today's my big day of court. I'm feeling fairly anxious. I don't know what the outcome's going to be, but so great news. 2 of the 4 charges have been dropped. I am pleading guilty to 1 drive while disqualified and 1 stealing a motor vehicle. So these offences happened before I went to prison, so they happened early May. So for me to go back to prison would be devastating. I can't even actually imagine it. Like, I actually cannot even think about that because for me it's just not an option. I am not a menace to society anymore.
So, Dada, how are you feeling?
I'm a little bit anxious, but
Are you? Why?
because I think you'll all be good, but there's always things that don't. She's worked so hard this time to change her life. I don't think it'd do the state any favours for her to go back into incarceration because it's not going to help. It'll just break her soul.
If I just do all the right things and I be good and I stay away from people that are using, then I am praying with all my heart that I don't go back to prison.
Hey, Stephen. Lovely to see you. Becky,
Hi, dear.
welcome.
Thank
Good to
you.
see you.
Thank you.
Come on in.
Thank you.
I received an intensive corrections order for 12 months. If I step out of line, I will be going straight back to jail. So I'm not going to jail, so no more jail.
That's fantastic.
And no more problems
Yeah, no more
for
problems.
the family.
Yeah. Dad. No more problems for the family.
That would be good.
Yeah.
All right.